The Kraken has awoken. Kaspa catching a bid to the upside, changing entropy. This video will break down the fundamental driving force. And no, it's not the Binance listing rumors that are causing this. In fact, it's something much more based in monetary policy. Combining this data set, the fundamental monetary policy, with some technical indicators will provide us insight into how high this local swing peak will reach. Starting out in December, when it changed to the downside, that was all caused by the CPI data release. Kaspa has very strong ties to monetary policy. Every time Powell would step up to the podium and address the nation on the U.S. greenbacks, Kaspa would see immense bidding. This is hinting at institutional level investors. Look at that upside. Boom, boom. Of course, Marathon Digital and BlackRock getting involved somewhere back here. We can only assume it's them catching the bid here to the upside. The local fundamental monetary policy is the release of PPI and CPI data. This is connected to inflation. This is what's going to make the Fed's decision on whether or not they're going to turn the money printers on. We have multiple PDFs that will train you like you took a college course in economics on what kickstarts a bull run inside our group. A very handy tool is this 2025 FOMC calendar guide. As we jump into the technicals to combine this fundamentals with some on-chart data to see how high this candle can take us, we'll be using stochastics. Inside our VIP group, we've been using this in the last week. In fact, we've been using it for over a year now. Within the last 24 hours, we got the #1 highest trade on the virtuals ecosystem. AI agent Convo. We got everybody inside our group in 22 hours ago at 3 cents. And look at what we're eyeballing. It's the same thing we're going to look at on the Kaspa chart to get a read on how much more upside there is. You see that right there? That's the stochastics combined with a falling wedge. Now, when we go a bit deeper, this is how our trading plans work here. You click on this previous falling wedge patterns and we can see this is render at $5. Guess what the catalyst was here with Solana at 130, render at $5. It was when the FOMC was cutting rates. Therefore, when we're looking at this Convo falling wedge, we can see, well, the PPI data and CPI data acted as a trigger to create this upside breakout. Inside the creator bid ecosystem, this is a new virtuals that isn't even released yet. The gains here are going to be epic. True 100xers. So we're already getting our VIP members in, stacking the bag. This is Luigi. Look what we're looking at. Stochastics. It's the same thing we're going to study in this video. Look what happened to Luigi. That trading plan was here at 6. It rocketed all the way up to 18. And we've got way more bullish technicals inside these AI agents just from the last week alone, including ATA, getting our group members in at 13. Look at this baby, 31. This is almost a triple up. And that trading plan was from 3 days ago. So our VIP group undoubtedly has a massive edge, and I'm going to show you some of that right now. Stochastics are similar to RSI. They're an oscillator, which means they act like a pendulum swinging back and forth. Whenever the gauge is at a top, that's a local swing high. When it's at a bottom, that's a swing low. So as a rule of thumb, when you're buying, you want to buy on a stochastic low. Now, as you can see, there's also a series of higher highs and higher lows. There's additional indicators that you combine with this one in order to gauge whether this low will be a higher high or a lower low. This rabbit hole goes way deeper. So what we're seeing on the 1 week is more upside. The fast line in blue is creating the path that this orange line is going to take. So it's got a ways to go up until it even reaches the top of the gaze. Now, here's where the big kicker comes in, the 1 week. As you can see, this is very clear. Peak, the last time it peaked here in August, and then again, right before CPI data came out, and then we had this sharp decline. See, low, low. A great rule of thumb is How about I use the stochastics and I buy at the 1 week swing low? You're not going to go wrong with that. That's a great addition. If you're dollar cost averaging, use the 1 day, use the 4 hour, and you'll immediately see upside on this. So the 1 week is at the bottom of the gauge. That's a buy signal historically. And it's shifting entropy. Now headed to the upside. Jumping back to the fundamentals driving this, today was the release of the CPI. That's the data that caused the sell-off in December. The PPI was released 48 hours ago. Now, the difference between PPI and CPI is important. PPI is the producers, the warehouses, the manufacturers, the source of CPI. CPI is how much does it cost for the average American to live, buy groceries. And this is important because it's going to determine when and how hardcore the FOMC will turn the money printer on. And in order to understand how they do that without directly printing cash, we have documents inside of our macroeconomics sector that make it clear and easy to understand. You can learn all of it inside an afternoon. What they sourced was they're mistaking inflation for higher PPI. So it's actually the manufacturers who are jacking the price up. Therefore, the CPI numbers were overinflated. Keeping that fundamental data in the back of our mind as we return to the Kaspa chart for some technicals, we can see that there's a double bottom pattern forming. Kaspa has formed 2 double bottoms back to back. Keeping a trading journal is very handy as we have a collection of prior double bottom observations. Recently, Memecoin trader Crash did a video on how important utilizing double bottoms was inside his call outs. We just used one inside this Adam and Eve on ATA right here at the 12-cent mark, and it did a 3x to the upside. Our trading journal shows us that the double bottom pattern has a tendency to repeat itself. You'll see this occasionally in a cup and handle. There's a big rounded bottom, and then instead of forming a handle, it'll just form an entirely secondary cup. Then the breakout will happen. Putting all these puzzle pieces together, we nullify the fundamentals that created the sell-off in December, as updated PPI and CPI data shows Kaspa's price should be more around the 16-cent range. We see the psychology of the market recognizing that hard support at 10 cents. Looking at our calendar for 2025, there's a lot of important events that are about to take place that are going to have effect on entropy of the entire market, including Kaspa. As these events start to unfold, Kaspa is looking to consolidate in between 14 and 16 cents until there's a catalyst of breakout. Those catalysts won't come from a Binance listing. First, it will come from monetary policy. The FOMC will say something along the lines of, we're going to halt quantitative tightening February 28th of this year. In the scenario they do that, they now open the doors for Binance to create a Kaspa listing 2-3 weeks before the quantitative tightening even halts. As long as they recognize there'll be an influx of liquidity down the road, they can go ahead and start the 10 BPS upgrade, the tier 1 exchange listings, and so on. So we'll be consolidating in between 16 and 14, waiting for the next major catalyst. In the meantime, there's been a lot of downside for the Kaspa community. That's why we've been jumping into the virtuals ecosystem and creator bid, which is the strongest competitor to virtuals, catching some action gain. You don't have to put a huge amount of your portfolio in. You can throw a couple $100 down, a couple $1,000 will often make you a top 50 holder. Regular meme coins, JPEGs on chain with a narrative, are facing their biggest competition yet with these AI agents that have their own wallets, earn their own cash, and use it to pump their price. This is a great way to earn some cash and learn more about combining technical analysis with monetary policy. This combo trade, a great example. There's an important FOMC meeting up and coming, and we'll have all the details inside our VIP group. Take a moment to invest in yourself. Hire on an extra set of hands to comb through paperwork, look over the charts, and feed you that information in easy, digestible format. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.